This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, welcome to Isha Training Solutions Demo 2 session. So we are going to see the starting concept today. Say like what are APM tools? We'll pretty much start our course content. Probably today we'll see the fundamentals, and then in the upcoming sessions we'll do practical understanding of how app dynamics can be used for your application monitoring. So APM tools, application performance monitoring or application performance management tools. Because why I started saying like it is a management tool, because monitoring tool will only monitor, it will not report anything to you unless and until you infer something from the data. But if it is giving you something, some alerting mechanism, some kind of recovery action it is trying to do, right? So it is kind of doing the management also. That is the reason I'm saying like APM means application performance management or application performance monitoring, whatever the we call it as, we can call. So why actually it has to be learned by each and everybody. Okay, say I consider myself as different skill set people. Okay, say like I'm a developer. Okay, I'll quickly go. Yeah, so say like I'm a developer. So what will I do? I usually develop a piece of code, right? Develop code, and then I'll deploy to the integration team or performance team, and then to the production. Okay, so what is that problem usually happen is that like if integration tester is missing something and performance tester is missing something, and the code is actually reaching to your production, and if you are facing any problem in that production code, or some outage is actually happening in that production code, so who will get the blame? Who will get the blame if some outage is actually coming? Who will get the blame, guys? Anybody can say. Usually it will trace back, and then finally they'll blame the developers only. Correct or not? Most of the time it will end up in saying like developer did something wrong, actually saying everybody's responsibility, even your integration tester responsibility, or your performance testers responsibility, like that everybody should take the responsibility. But most of the time it will not happen. Every blame game will be there with the developer alone, and we cannot definitely should not blame the developers, because the developers, they are not having sufficient time to do that thorough testing of each and every chunk of code that they are developing. Because nowadays it is not waterfall model, right? It is like it is something agile model or DevOps model. So because of that reason, your development cycle time is actually very short. Within a week, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks, within 4 weeks, like that only your user stories are developed, right? So because of that, the developers are not getting sufficient time to do your thorough unit testing. That's the problem. The even you should not blame the developers, because the release milestone designed in such a way that you are not getting sufficient time to do thorough unit testing. So that is the reason what is happening. I don't know whether you in your organization it happened or what. I saw in many organizations the developer did not even complete their full development. Complete development, they will not even complete it. And what they will do, since because the date has come, say like say like they got the date, particularly 22nd 22nd February, they have to deploy the code. Means though it is not completely developed, full code is not completely developed, what they will do, they will simply deploy that half cooked code into the testing environment, because they don't want to take any blame that you only provided the code late. Because of that, every activity, subsequent activities are delayed. They should not get that kind of a blame, right? So what they will do, politically they'll handle, and they'll say like, I deployed the code by 22nd February as expected. But what will happen? The integration tester will test all his test cases. Each and every test case will fail. Each and every test case will fail, and they will raise defects like that. In the meantime, what these people will do in the parallel activity, they'll complete their actual code, and then they'll deploy it into the integration environment. All these defects raised by the integration tester will become invalid, because now only actually they deployed the actual code. I don't know in how many of your organization you guys would have, or you guys would have heard these kind of things. This is because of the timeline pressure usually nowadays developers are actually doing. We actually should not blame them. That is because of the timeline pressure. So now, if you are not having sufficient time to do these kind of unit testing, there these APM tools are wonderful way. It will help you to find fault in your small piece of code that you developed. Okay, unit testing, that time you are trying to deploy your application agent, machine agent, user experience agent, database agent, like that. And then if you are trying to check your application performance bottleneck, it is little easy when compared to the traditional unit testing model. In traditional unit testing model, you will not have most of the time you will not have clue where it is a problem. Say like it is application related problem, DB related problem, server related problem, infrastructure related problem, like that. You don't have any clue, because the traditional approach is not that clear. But using this APM tools, this AppDynamics APM tools, you can do a wonderful way of doing a unit testing, so that most of your performance related issues or most of your load related issues, without even reaching to integration testing layer or to the performance layer or to the production layer, you can still find all your performance bottleneck. That is where your developers can use this tool in such a way to get the maximum benefit. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Anybody have any question till now?
Hey, Sabarana.
No.
Um, I know you will discuss it later on, but just want to give a understanding, like a high level understanding. So I know that in comparisons with Dynatrace, we only have one agent in Dynatrace, but in AppDynamics, I believe we have to install different agent, right? Depending on the hardware or operating system. Um, Normally, where do we get all of those installer or agent?
During our regular session, I will show you that, Jonathan.
Sure.
It is there in the getting started wizard. There is a getting started wizard is there in AppDynamics. In that, you can see the list of agents that are available, Jonathan.
Correct.
Okay.
The reason I asked because I'm already involved there, and that's why I'm just trying to get some just quick overview. I know I don't want to hijack your training. I know it will you are I know you already, you're so good, you're detailed. But so basically it's somewhere in the AppDynamics portal or
Yeah, it is there. It is there in the portal itself.
got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So for developers, this is a story. Means same story is for performance testers as well. Okay, performance testers, what they really do, nowadays, the sprint level performance testing, in sprint level, nth sprint level, like that. If you are going and doing a performance testing activity, most of the time, what is happening to an extent, what maximum number of days you are getting for performance testing activities, guys, in this forum? How many number of days you guys are getting for performance testing activity maximum? Agile based project. Not more than 2 days. That is how you guys are working. Day in, day out, you are getting very minimum days to do your scripting, execution, and all, right? Because that is how the timeline pressure is running behind you. So, what is the problem? They will do testing, they'll do scripting, execution, reporting, and then they'll go to the next sprint level activity. Because of that, they will not focus on many intermittent, many bits and pieces of issue. They'll literally leave it because they are thinking about the next release activity. No, during our school days and college days, you will prepare for one exam, and then after writing the exam, you will not even recollect what you wrote in that exam. You will think about the next day exam. That is how your mind will be, right? So similarly here also, you will be thinking about next release activity only. You will not think about the current release problem statement. What is the problem? CPU problem, memory problem, response time problem, hits problem, throughput problem, network problem. No, nothing. You will think about the next release activity because of the timeline pressure. In that time period, you want to optimally use your timeline, and also find is there any performance bottleneck is there or what. That time performance testers can use this APM tool, the AppDynamics APM tool. That time what they can do, they can use this tool, parallelly run the test, how your test is impacting the infrastructure, what is the behavior that you are getting post completion or during the execution. Is there any CPU related bottleneck that are coming, or memory related, or garbage related, or thread related, or response time related, or error related, or exception related, like that? Your investigation will be in a different layer when you are trying to have this APM tool in your tool set. Okay, in your tool set, if you are trying to have this uh, um, uh, if you're trying to have this tool, your approach will be little different. Not like a normal performance tester. You will be like a performance engineer. You can report lot of issues. That is how performance tester can leverage this tool along with their regular performance testing activity. They can bring lot of value to your activity that you are doing. Any question till now, guys? Any question? Yeah, the next will be, say, like the support engineers, or support engineer you call it as, or DevOps engineer, you can call different name. Okay, so traditionally this system support engineers or infrastructure engineers or this DevOps engineers, whomever you are talking about, right? Say, like, if I wanted to see like my application, I'm working for Google, you think like that. Okay, I'm working for Google, and if I wanted to see to that Google servers are up and running without having any problem, is there any outage, do I need to report those issues, to whom should I report these issues, like that? Lot of train of reactions are there, right? Say, like, now after deploying these APM tools into your infrastructure monitoring stack, these tools are doing certain artificial intelligence, AI. Okay, artificial intelligence, or you call it as applied intelligence, whatever. So what these tools are doing, it is pretty much trying to fill the gap, bridge those gap. Say, like, you can automatically report your issues through mail, or you wanted to do automatic activity that has to be done if there is any response time related problem or error related problem, whatever you call it as. So it is automatic now. It is automatic. Instead of you are doing manually, it is automatically done. So what is the best part here? You are not waiting for that instance to happen, and then you are not doing the logs to be analyzed. You are not investigating your issue, and you are not spending time in reporting that issue to the respective person, because the tool is having that intelligence. When there is a problem, it will report automatically. It is not waiting for something to happen. It is not waiting for the summary of the mail to be triggered, or chart has to be prepared, logs has to be captured. No, nothing. Actually, your tool will automatically report those issues which are happening say like you can do your mail trigger, thread dump trigger, snapshot trigger, whatever the activity that you wanted to do, you can do using this APM tool. So for system support engineers also, it is really useful, because system support engineers traditionally, if you talk to a system support engineers, what they will do 24/7, I have to sit in front of the machine, I have to see health status of each and every server, I have to see any CPU problem that is coming, I have to see any memory problem that is coming, I have to see number of users accessing the system, I have to see is there any outage, whether proper ticketing has been created, I have to see the respective team is working on that, I have to also investigate those people fixed the issue or what, the code is reached to the production or what is the mean time to repair time. All those things the system support engineers usually measure it, right? Do it. So now it is not that case, because your infrastructure is actually monitored by the App Dynamics APM tool. So system support engineer job is little easy now. Everybody able to understand? Anybody have any question till now? Yeah. So this is how this App Dynamics tool is really required to be learned by different people. So App Dynamics introduction. Okay, App Dynamics, I already mentioned. If you go to the Gartner Quadrant mature APM tools list, App Dynamics is one of the tool along with your Dynatrace. So if you are going and checking like this, say like just a minute. This is how it is there. You can see APM Pro, APM Advanced, APM Peak. Okay. APM Pro means what is there, APM Advanced means what is there, APM Peak means what is there. That is what it is trying to tell you. Okay. So in App Dynamics, so if you wanted to understand the casting structure, you can request them to get those details. So somebody asked right now, right? Like if I go to the page, I can click the licensing thing. So for our learning license, 16 days trial license it is there, 15, I would say 15 only, but on top ribbon it will be mentioned as 16. So you can see the pro license and then light license. There are two licenses are there for learning. I'm saying pro license and then light license. Pro license is nothing but for the first 15 days. For the first 15 days, you will have 5 units of Java, 5 units of .NET, 5 units of PHP, 5 units of Node.js, like that. 5 units are available, right? That is for your pro license. First 15 days, you are into the pro license. After 15 days, that account will become a light license. Pro license will become a light license. What light license means? All these 5 units will become 1 units, which means that one Java application, one .NET application, one Node.js application, like that. All your 5 units will become 1 unit. That is the pro license and the light license. Anybody have any question till now?
With regards to the licensing, do we have an estimate, or is it published on their website how much we'll have to pay if we want to upgrade the license?
Not like that, Jonathan, because how these guys are working is that like they'll see your prospect also, whether you are a enterprise level large volume customer, you will have a different quote altogether, and then there are things, attributes are involved in that. Based on that, they'll share the quote with you, Jonathan.
Okay, because I'm just I mean, I'm just wondering if there's something like for like either a developer or just a tester. We are not just like an enterprise. I'm just wondering if there is any license that for me, like a tester, like for my personal sake, like I'm trying to learn this, and I don't want to, create this, account. So I'm saying, I'm wondering if there is something like that, like for a tester,
No,
like
this license, no,
individual.
this license, whatever I'm showing you right now, right? You can use it. You can use it. You can create one and then you can use it. There is no cost involved in that. You can use it. Only
So
thing you
basically,
should not.
go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, Jonathan,
No, so what you're trying to
please.
say is we create the account and then we use it for 15 days, and then if we need to extend, then we have to create another account just to continue the testing, right? That's what you're saying.
No, no, no. That's what you configure one Java application means after 15 days it will not be a problem. But you configure 5 Java application means after 15 days it will become one Java license only.
Ah, so it will
Remaining 4 will not.
continue. So it will continue for only one application. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. True.
Ah, okay. So it's still good. So actually, that's what I need. So so you will show us how to set up later on, right? How to set up the App
Yeah, yeah,
Dynamics,
yeah.
right? Got it.
Yeah. I will show
Good,
that. I
good,
will show that.
good, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically,
Hello.
these.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, these agents are application agents, right? How about monitoring the hardware level, the infrastructure? Does it have a separate
Yeah.
agent or
I'm.
included?
I am right now going to scroll down. That time you're asking this question. This is
Okay.
this
Okay.
is actually
Okay.
this.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This user experience license and then database license and then infrastructure license, network
Okay. Okay.
license, analytical license. Everything is there.
Okay.
So all
Please,
these
please
are
go ahead.
license types. Yeah. And then if you guys really wanted to see the agents, means there is a getting started wizard is there. Under that, if you click getting started, you will see all the list of agents that are there. Okay. So these are the out of the box agents. Don't think like this is the maximum. There are extensions, there are plugins are available with App Dynamics as well. But this is the out of the box. Out of the box in the sense like straight away you can do the integration and then get the data. That is the out of the box feature that is available in App Dynamics. So in App Dynamics, if you are trying to see like App Dynamics APM things. So individually, actually not only App Dynamics, even the Neuralink is also like that. Neuralink APM tool also. If you wanted to configure Java application, separate agent. .NET application, separate agent. Like that, you have to have separate agents. You have to use it. But in the case of Dynatrace, it is all one agent. That one single agent will take care of everything. But here it is an individual agent you need to purchase. But I would say people will think differently, right? There are people will say, I want one tablet for all my disease. And there are people will say, no, I will have if I have fever, I will take fever tablet alone, not all the treatment. So like that only if you're trying to have Dynatrace one agent means it will do all the monitoring. But in the case of App Dynamics, if you wanted to monitor database alone, database agent, application alone, application agent, machine alone, machine agent, like that separately you can do your agent installation configuration can be done to dedicatedly get the data. Clear, guys? Everybody
Yeah.
able to
So
understand this?
yeah. So
Hello, my friend.
So Sabran, what you're trying to say is like, for example, in a server, I have a different like let's say I have a PHP and then let's say I have a database there. So you're saying that hypothetically we have to install the agent per I guess per platform, right? Like for example, database or let's say
Yeah, per
PHP in one
technology.
server.
Per technology, yeah, correct.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because it's totally different from Dynatrace. But yeah, at least I will be able to, understand the difference. Thank you.
Jonathan, you will definitely get the different. Don't worry, because during this entire course journey, each and every word that I'm trying to say will definitely make you clear what is Dynatrace can do, what is the App Dynamics can do, in what way both are same. all those explanation I will explain during our course journey itself, Jonathan. My
Okay.
way of journey itself will be like that. You could have seen that, but I'm saying you will definitely get that comparative learning, and also the uniqueness of your app dynamics also you will still get it, Jonathan.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely. You're most welcome. So this app dynamics tool, I would say, you are going, not only app dynamics, all the APM tools I'm saying, you are going to have agent setting in your respective servers. Say like if I pictorially represent it, okay, say like you have your web server, you have your app server, you have your DB server. Okay, your agent will be sitting here. Your agent will be sitting here. Your agent will be sitting here, and then your agent will be sitting here. So what these agents will do, will collect the data and it will send the data to your App Dynamics controller. Okay, App Dynamics controller. This is a UI. This is a App Dynamics UI, and you are going to get the data. And there are people will still ask these questions all the way, like how can I monitor the data using this App Dynamics? Means obviously you should have a agent configured. That time only you can do this. Even either you can instrument the code or you can install the code, whatever. You can call it as whatever. Install the code or instrument the code, but your agent should be running in so and so infrastructure. Say there are people who will ask this question. I have 10 machine. In that one machine only my agent is there. Is it sufficient or what? Or is it a right approach or what? So you have to, you will get only where you installed your agent, that data would be coming. Not all the 100% visibility you will not get it. So make sure you have all your agents installed in all your servers, but it is up to you. In there are organization, they will go for 10% of deployment, 20% of deployment, 30% deployment, like that they will go. It is up to the decision making of the organization. But I'm saying, once you are having a detailed, once you wanted to have a detailed understanding of your application, definitely you should have a detailed installation of your agents. Then only you will get data. Other than that, you will not get a detailed information. That is for sure. So make sure you have agents installed, and then it is sending the data to your App Dynamics controller. Then you can do all your data gathering, data investigation, bottleneck analysis can be done. Okay. So in this case, App Dynamics, in this case only, I told you there are two deployment models are there. Actually saying there are two deployment models are there. Just a minute. Yeah, on-premises model and then SaaS model. Okay, on-premises model and then SaaS model. Actually saying not much of a conceptual difference, only the deployment difference. Okay, I'll tell you. Say like your App Dynamics user, REST API, DB agents, App Server agent. These are something that it is actually different entities in which you are getting the data to your App Dynamics controller. Okay, so this is a SaaS platform. SaaS platform sits on what? It sits on cloud machine. So all these places, say like this, it is all there, right? So all these places, your agents are installed and it is sending the data to your SaaS platform. Okay. Similarly, if you go and read through your on-premises model, same thing only in the left-hand side. Your agent should be sitting in different places, and it will send the data to your controller, event services, and then end-user monitoring server. So this is all installed in your on-premises. Within the premise, you are installing the software. But in the case of SaaS model, you are going to have all those things sitting in your cloud. The tool vendor, the App Dynamics vendor will own the infrastructure. Okay. So anybody in this forum can tell me, not only in this case, can tell me, you guys will prefer SaaS model or on-premises model? If I ask this question, what answer you guys will say? On-premises model or SaaS model? If you guys
SaaS
don't know what is on-premises SaaS also, you tell me, I'll explain it.
We prefer SaaS model.
I think it depends upon the organization decision, right?
Yeah, wonderful answer, Anish. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
obvious. It is depends upon the organization. If you are a banking customer or insurance customer, you don't want your data to go out of your firewall, so you require on-premises. But if you are a retail-based customer, you require lot of storage, lot of logs are stored, lots of infrastructure that is required. In that case, you will think about going for SaaS model because you are not going to maintain the infrastructure, you are not going to maintain the data archival process, you are not going to take the data backup process, everything, because for you somebody is going to work and you are going to get the benefit since you are using the SaaS model. But in the case of on-premises model, you have to do deployment, you have to do upgrade, you have to do data backup, data archival, all these things you have to do if it is in the case of on-premises. If it is in the case of SaaS model, you are not worried of. Clear, guys? Everybody able to differentiate the on-premises and SaaS model?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is a reason nowadays what is happening. Even the AppDynamics vendor, I'm saying, they are not promoting that greatly on-premises model unless and until it is on need basis. They are doing that. SaaS model only they are encouraging to do so because in that only they will have more revenue, right? SaaS model means cloud I have to provide to you, license I have to provide to you. But in the case of on-premises, I have to only provide a license. I don't have more of a revenue, That is the reason nowadays everybody, not only AppDynamics, Dynatrace, everybody is actually more keen on what? SaaS-based model. SaaS-based model only. Everybody is actually more keen on that. Any question, guys? Still now? Any question?
Hello. Can we have two agents on one server, like Dynatrace and AppDynamics agent? Is it possible?
Actually, it will not work, Anish. It will not work.
You mean only
Why?
presently you
I'll
want to say,
tell
right?
you. Yeah, I'll tell you with example. Morning
Yes.
batch, I took Dynatrace. Okay. Evening batch, I'm taking AppDynamics batch in my laptop. One agent is sitting on my laptop. In morning, since I installed one agent into my laptop, evening, if I start the AppDynamics now, it is not working. It is not capturing the data. Okay. So what is that meaning? There should be a blocker or there should be a intelligence built in so that one agent sits on that machine, the another agent is blocking or it is not working, whatever you take it, whatever you consider. No. So that is how it is designed, maybe. Yeah. You are getting my point, Anish?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Agent
probably
is
with
basically
this.
Agent is basically a piece of software that we install on the target machine, right? So that we get the data logs of that machine in AppDynamics. Am I correct?
Yeah, exactly. You to the point you answered, like you are answering in interview session. Yeah, it is how you have to say, like it is a piece of software. It is actually getting the data and bringing the data back to your AppDynamics. Yeah, true, Mallikarjuna. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, sure. So with this, we'll close our demo 2 session for AppDynamics. I would say pretty much we are into the session. I hope you guys have started getting what we are actually discussing. So we wanted to continue this the day 1 session probably from tomorrow. And in this forum, if anybody wanted to continue with our course journey, please reach out to Kumar sir. This is Kumar sir number 801995247, 801995247. So please reach out to Kumar sir and you can discuss about something on timing, something on course content, something on commercial related things. If you wanted to discuss with Kumar sir, you can still discuss and then we can proceed. So those who already did it will communicate to you like the further things through our WhatsApp group. probably tomorrow we are planning to have our day 1 session of app dynamic session, but pretty much we started today itself because auspicious day today, so we started it, but we'll update you. Okay, we'll update you about our next session. Thanks everyone for joining today's session, today's demo session. We'll regroup later. Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
One second. I have one question. Hello.